Welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we cut through the bullshit
Greggy,
so we can get naked.
you can't say that.
Why not? How would you say it then?
Well, maybe more like, welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we undress emotionally so we can undress physically.
That's exactly what I said. Not sure what the problem is. Welcome to episode
Number 57.
57 it is. Hey,
Our microphone mismatch.
we have some bloopers maybe we'll post someday up there. But I want to go back and give a few updates before we start on our topic today. And one of those updates I want to give is about our contest and the contest winner. This week, I was lucky enough to have Amy invite me to meet the couple that won the contest. And I would be amiss if I didn't take a second to thank them very, very much for the opportunity I had to coach them. They are an absolute amazing, on fire couple.
Mm-hmm.
And they have changed a lot in the last couple of years, and they have a few roadblocks they're trying to get through. But the honesty that they have with each other and with us was just fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. And I was really appreciative that Amy invited me to be able to sit down and coach them.
I felt a little selfish taking all
She
that
was taking them all by
enjoyment
herself.
to myself.
Does that often.
So I invited you.
Well,
in.
hell, if I had to pick, I'd pick you.
They are an absolutely phenomenal couple, as I believe there are many others of you out
Yes.
there that we would love to meet. And I am inspired by those that come to us in coaching. I don't see it as an impairment or weakness or something to be ashamed of. In any stretch of any imagination, I have so much respect for those couples that come, because what they're really coming to coaching for is to improve their marriage. Their marriage matters. They care for their spouse. They care for themselves. They believe in marriage and its capacity to have room for both of them. They maybe just haven't figured out how yet.
Right. And so shout out to the Moody's. We know it's Tuesday evening. You're listening on your date night.
Thank you for
Hopefully
listening.
your Walmart trip went well. We're grateful to have you on board. We really, really appreciate it. I think another thing I want to talk about a little bit is that we had talked in an earlier podcast, a couple other podcasts. We had the one with Kathleen, who really talked about her voice and her anxiety and what that meant. And she had named that voice Carl. And I had mentioned in the last podcast, I got to name my voice too.
Mm-hmm.
And good old George Costanza running in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go ahead.
George was really active last week.
Well, and that's why I want to kind of give you an update of something that really happened for me. And I believe this ability to name George really helped me overcome something that I've been struggling with for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So 6, 7 years ago, I never loved going to the dentist ever.
No.
And I've had a lot of dental work. I had baby teeth that never came in as permanent teeth. And so I've had bone grafts and
sinus.
That's right. Sinus, you name it, I've had it, and
braces, orthodontics.
I've hated every minute of it, and I've always not enjoyed it and been a little anxious about it. So the last time I was at the dentist, I was having a root canal, and I literally got up from the chair and went to the bathroom and had a full on nervous breakdown.
Panic attack.
I started shaking uncontrollably. I couldn't control myself. I put myself together, and I actually never told the dentist that I had. I went back and finished my root canal, which was, looking back, probably pretty silly of me. But it's shameful for me to admit this, but I'm going to in front of all these people now. I haven't been back to the dentist since. I could not bring myself to come back to the dentist. Well, as fate has it, sometimes you're forced to go back to the dentist.
Can't avoid forever.
I bit into a lifesaver while I was traveling for work, and all of a sudden one of my teeth came loose. And I tried to pretend like it wasn't happening. And then that weekend, it was obvious that something had happened. This was the same week that I had traveled. I had named George, and I had been using this often to be able to identify my anxiety and those feelings. And I had seen benefits of it. But here I was having to go back to the place where I'd had a major panic attack, where I'd had a breakdown. Not the same dental office. I found a different one. But it was the same experience. But this time, I knew George was there. I had named him.
We had talked about him
I had talked about
beforehand.
him. I knew that's what had happened.
Hmm.
And I wasn't shy one bit with this dentist about telling them about it. Hey, listen, it's been 6 years I've been at the dentist. I had a major panic attack, a breakdown last time I was in the middle of this procedure. I am concerned. They took my blood pressure. It was through the roof when I sat
Yeah.
down.
You were really
Um,
afraid of not being able to breathe, which
right.
is a legitimate fear.
Yeah, there was a legitimate fear there that I couldn't breathe and that I wasn't going to make it through the procedure. So I got the opportunity to, in real time, practice naming an anxiety. And why I won't sign up to go to the dentist every day, it's not still not my favorite thing to do. I am proud to announce that I made it through that procedure just fine. And without anywhere near having any kind of panic. In fact, well, and I have to admit, I actually used laughing gas this time too. So that might have something to do with it. So it's either the drugs or George. I don't know, but we'll put both on there. But in fact, I sent Amy a message and I said, why George was high on laughing gas. So he was put away on the shelf. I've thought about all these things, and here's all the things I want to talk to you about in my logic side of the brain. So I know for a long time I thought this was woo-ness, like it was crazy. You want me to name it and talk to it like I'm talking to someone else? Like people, they'll think I'm crazy. This is nuts. But I have to tell you that really having practiced it, it did make a huge difference. Just being honest. And those, like, I don't know why I thought they would judge me or think there was something wrong with me if I told them about it, but they were so kind. Like they literally said, thank you. We're honored that you came to us. And I'm like, yeah, haha. And they're like, no, really. To put the trust back in us after you've had that experience, that really means a lot to us. And so they were fantastic people. And I had a good experience. Again, not signing up to go there every day, not that great of an experience, but as far as what it could have been, it was a really good experience. It was just a fun moment to take something that we have kind of preached over the few years and where I've had some opportunities to use it and really put it into practice, where it was a major shift in events by being able to name and understand the feelings I was having at the moment and being able to say, I got this, George. We're good. I'm going to be able to breathe. We're just fine.
It's so important. It seems silly. I know, but I first tried this probably about 6 years ago. And what I realized then, and what is still true for me now, is when you name it, you gain this space, the space between where you would normally react. And it's this space where you realize you have some choice, you have some agency, that you don't have to just react to this narrative or listen to this narrative. You actually have other options. And also naming it pulls it out from being you, because we're not really wired to reject ourselves. And so when you name it and it's a little separate from you, that's when it makes it easier to say, thanks for suggesting that, but no thanks. I already know what happens when I believe this narrative, or when I subscribe to this narrative. I know that this will happen next, and then this will happen next. I've seen it play out hundreds of thousands of times. And you know what? Hard pass. I want something else. And I think when it's just inside of us, first of all, it's not named. And so it feels like maybe it's true, or maybe it's who we are. There's like an identity piece there. But when you name it and kind of just get that little bit of distance and separation from you, then you also get that space to realize that you have choice to engage differently, that you can respond instead of react, that you can actually move through this experience like Greggy did instead of having a panic attack, that there are other options, that you can name what's happening. You have other options of what might be true or what possibilities are there. And it's those options in that space that's so powerful.
Yeah. And I think the other part that I learned that will help lead us into the topic we want to talk about today is bringing out of the darkness, right? When you share that and bring it up to other people, where I don't know if I felt I was going to be judged, or
I think there's a lot of
shame behind it. I
shame
don't know
really
why there was
in
the moment I didn't raise my hand while I was sitting in that chair and saying, I'm having a panic attack, or I'm really anxious. I'm really nervous. Why did I hold it in so much? And that was
that's
really
pretty normal, though.
I think it's normal. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I had a great experience by saying, I am not going to let George live in the darkness, right?
Mhm.
Him and I are going to have a conversation about this. I'm going to apply logic to it, and then I'm going to have a very open and honest conversation with my dentist. And it made all the difference in the world. In fact, one of the funniest things that happened, we were about to the end of it, and they were getting ready to wrap up. And she was talking about they had to do some gum work and stuff. And she was talking about how there was going to be some pain because I had to do it, and we need to stay in Advil. And I meant to say to her, yeah, I've felt all that kind of pain before because I've had all the work in the world that needs to be done.
Yeah, you weren't blessed with great
No,
teeth
I blame my
genes.
parents about that. So hopefully they're not listening. Well, I know one of them's not listening, but and so I was trying to tell her, yeah, I've felt that before. I felt that the whole time. And what she heard was she thought I meant I felt the whole procedure. And she was like
Oh.
panicked and almost upset at me. She's like, you promised me that you would raise your hand and you would tell me that this was going on. And I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. She's like, Greg, why did you do that to me? So I gave her a little panic attack at the end by herself because she thought I'd suffered through the whole thing by feeling it. But that was the other part of it. Like in the end, when I didn't leave it in the darkness, it didn't have the power over me that it had when I left it in the darkness.
Yeah.
And I tried to deal with it in quiet, not bring it up and have other people help me. And so that was really powerful.
I feel like those stories or shame or anything that we aren't proud of or don't love or wish were different, it grows in darkness.
Yeah.
And being hidden or trying to suppress it or ignore it, it just actually grows.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were very observant last week, you may have noticed my pirate smile. I was missing a tooth.
Yes, I called him my pirate for the week. I tried
Like,
to make
that's
it
probably not
lighthearted,
funny.
but he's like, ouch, that hurts a
Here I
little
am
bit.
having a panic attack and she's cracking a joke over there.
No, you
so.
weren't having a panic attack. I just
Here
said...
I am trying not to have a panic attack and she's cracking a joke over there. So
I was like,
anyway, what a
ahoy
good experience
there,
for me
matey.
to learn that right away. But today kind of goes to along the lines of the darkness and keeping things hidden.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you I would keep messing up, so we would have topics to talk about. And
Wait, this isn't a one-sided street, babe.
yeah, I seem to be the one that keeps messing up. So
No,
one of these times
no.
Amy's going to mess up and then we'll talk about her mess ups. But
No, I mess up all the time.
today we're going to talk about another one of my mess ups. I want to address covert expectations.
So secret, unwritten, hidden expectations.
This can be really damaging, and especially when it's around intimacy, I think.
First, let me just, before you go like right into the intimacy.
No, let's go. What is the name of the podcast? Is it something else or is it undressing intimacy?
No. Let's just make it a little broader and then we'll go more specific.
Okay.
Because
he always wants to get off the topic of sex.
No, I love sex, but I think one of the struggles that I had and that I also see in a lot of other couples is having these covert expectations even as you enter the marriage. So this is even before you even get to more specific patterns. So for example,
well and alive before you get into marriage.
Yes. So for example, I believed that I would get married to you and you would take care of me.
I did.
And
Check.
I just had to like submit to you and you would take care of me.
You didn't.
We never explicitly had a conversation that I said, well, Greg, we're going to get married and I'm going to submit to you and you're going to take care of me. It was kind of in the culture we were in. It was marinating in, experiences around us, maybe being modeled by others around us. And so it was something entering into marriage. It was like, okay, I'll take care of the home and everything within the home. And you go make all the money. You'll take care of me and I'll take care of the home. And it was like this covert expectation that I don't know we ever had a specific conversation about, but it was just
commanded to make a mess.
Yeah, it
for
did.
decades.
Yes.
Yeah, that one didn't make them for decades. It's true.
Yes. And so sometimes even in the broad expanse, like I'll see maybe a woman who's like, no, like it's my job just to do this and they're just supposed to do this. Or a husband's like, well, I made good money. Why isn't my wife just putting out? And it's these broader covert expectations that I don't know that anyone would have signed a prenuptial agreement saying, here's
these expectations.
Here's what we agreed to. But yet they are like this hidden manual and you expect your spouse to be on board with it. And you don't even know yet if it's a good manual.
It might suck and you put it in there.
You don't even know if it's worth, enacting.
Putting in on the ink. Yeah, and that's the crazy part to me, is that we put these expectations on each other and we don't even share them. And so we think the likelihood that they're going to actually end up working is pretty low, but we think they should, and we get mad when they don't.
Yeah, and get really resentful.
And the big, broader ones, I think I've realized, and I've stopped doing it a lot, but I find myself still doing it. As we explore and try to make our sexual relationship better, we're trying to build this playground that we talk about that's co-built, so that it's always been my playground. And I've been trying to drag Amy by the hair up the stairs to go down the slide, and she doesn't want to go down the slide.
Don't recommend it. Which is funny, because I'm actually the one who likes playgrounds.
I don't like playgrounds. They make me sick.
And in real life, you don't like playgrounds.
I just got sick on a playground when I was a kid because the smell of them make me sick. But here we know I spend my whole life building these sexual playgrounds and trying to beg Amy to do it. And so we've done a much better job of co-creating these playgrounds.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's still moments in my life, and I don't know, I can't figure it out. And I go back and kick myself, and I guess we're never perfect. That's not what we're trying to be. And so this is a moment to learn again. Where we talk about and we explore these things, and then when they don't actually happen exactly like I think they should happen or when they should happen, then I start putting these covert expectations on you, and then it just spirals and gets worse. And so we had discussed about trying something new on our playground, and that it would be good, and there was some good data on it from S. Perel and some others. And so for me, as soon as we said that, I was like, okay, let's go. Right now? You mean right now? Amy didn't mean right now. She's still working on that. And so instead of me being honest about it and saying right now or tomorrow or when would you like to do that, I started doing these covert things. Hey, you think we could spend time together tonight? Sure, she says. I have all these things to do. I'll help you out. And I wasn't doing it just to get to this. That's what I used to do. But I was happy to go do all those things and help out. And then we went to bed and we tried this new thing. And I was like, what the hell? I did all these things and gave you time to finish this stuff. What is going on here? But Amy had no idea when I said, do we have time for each other in a night, that it meant this.
Right. I knew you were asking for time, and we did have time together, and we did enjoy that time together.
But it wasn't the thing that I had covertly expected out of you.
But it wasn't what you were secretly, I guess, wishing or hoping for, which I didn't actually know you were secretly wishing or hoping for.
So why? The question is why, and I spent a lot of time thinking about it. Even when George was high on laughing gas, I spent some time thinking about this. And I probably got the clearest answer when George was high on laughing gas.
What does that say about you, babe?
Maybe I should do drugs more often.
No.
No, it had some clarity around it. And in my mind, what really happens is we're so worried about the rejection. We're so worried about the no that I shouldn't say we. I'm going to say me, because this is me. And maybe it applies to you and maybe it applies to other people, but I'm going to just own it straight up. I'm so worried about the no and the rejection that I dance around it because I feel like I can manipulate it. And at least I'm not going to get an outright no right then. So then maybe I can play into it a little longer and play it around, and then it'll be more likely like it's going to happen. Amy has no idea.
The likelihood that I'm going to figure out what's going on in your mind is like zero.
Never. So you think I would learn this thing, right? Like this, so what if it's just so stupid? Like, so what if she says no then? Why do I have to try to manipulate it? And is it truly intimate?
It's interesting because I don't really tell you no that often.
No, and that's, especially now.
Yeah.
Very rarely have you like just right out rejected me on ideas that we want to do. And so I don't know where this came from, it's past habit that I've had. They die hard, right? They're here and you're thinking, I want to be brave and I want to say something. But if I am brave and I say this right now and honest, she might not like it or reject it. And so you're like, well, I'll just keep it a little covert. See if she can figure it out. And then be mad when she doesn't.
Yeah. So end of story, I didn't figure it out.
No, end of story. She didn't figure it out. And finally, I figured out, even before I had this, this time on Laughing Gas that helped me find clarity, I had realized, oh my gosh, I have covert expectations that Amy's never going to figure out. And so I did text her that morning and say, I am so sorry, babe. I have had this covert expectation that's underlying, and I realize how unfair that is to you to have this. And I'm really, really sorry. Here's what I've been wanting, and I've been hoping that we would do. And she's like, yeah, you've been weird.
Wait, I didn't quite say that. I said, yeah, George.
That's a summary of what she said. You're crazy.
No, I said, yeah, George has been present a lot in our interactions.
I feel like in the morning when you roll over and grab me, not grab me because it's not grab me, but when we have our ritual in the morning that we talk about, like there was neediness there and there was something different.
We had talked about those in the mornings. I'm like, George talking to you? And you're like, yeah, George is talking. And I'm like, okay, what's George saying?
But I thought it was like the normal George stuff.
What's going on over there? So it wasn't that we hadn't even noticed it, because I definitely noticed something was going on, but I didn't know if it was anxiety over your tooth or anxiety over there were some stressful things at work. So I was asking.
Yeah, she was asking, and it still took me a hot minute to figure out what was wrong with me. But
nothing is wrong with you.
So there's something wrong with me. Yeah. I have covert expectations and think you're going to figure them out, and then get mad at when you don't. There's something wrong with me. But I just wanted to bring that up because I think probably I'm not the only one that suffers from this problem, and how it really did not help bring me closer together with Amy. And by the way, it didn't work anyway. So it was a cluster anyway. So it didn't work anyway. But I was able to stay close to Amy because I was being open and honest to what I really desired and wanted. And I wasn't trying to hide it. And I think that's what true intimacy is about, is being able to expose ourselves in the moment, be clear and honest about what we're expecting from each other, and knowing that in that moment, she may say no, and I should be okay with that. And I know I'm okay with that, but for some reason I still cower and hide sometimes. Don't know why.
I don't know that I do this covert expectation in the sexual realm.
Would you please? It was fun trying to figure it out. I'll try everything.
Guess my mind, Greg.
I just thought of something. So sorry, I haven't brought my horse in a while, so I'm going to bring my horse.
Wow, here we go.
My beautiful Clifford. He's up in Oklahoma right now. We're going to go show him on Sunday. I'm excited about it. But he is so funny when we get to the end of a lesson and he's done. I'm done.
Yeah,
and
he definitely has a finish line in his.
He's like, why are we still doing
patience?
This? And so I'll ask him to do something, and instead of doing what I'm asking him to do, he'll throw everything in the book at me. Oh, you want to pivot? You want to back? You want to stop? You go forward? You want to do it all in quick succession? Because he thinks if I do all these things, there's got to be one of the things he's asking for, and if I do them fast, we'll be done.
Yeah, just get to the end of this so I can get back to my hay.
That's right. So that's what that came into my mind. If you have a covert expectation, I'll just throw everything at you. And it won't be my fault if you don't like it, because I'm just trying to figure out what your covert expectation. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's not it.
How about this? How about this? How about this?
Oh, I'll pull a Clifford on you and throw them all at you.
Wow.
Usually he gets the spur when that happens. Maybe that's what I want. Sorry, a little sidetrack, but anyway.
We decided this podcast topic about 10 minutes ago.
As we usually do.
Yes. And so the first thing I always do is ask myself, where do I do this? Where does this show up in me? Where do I see this? How does this look? And I think for me, the covert expectations were around partnership and what
dishes.
It could be dishes. It could be finances, since I tend to do more of like the financial monitoring, tracking.
We need to have a whole podcast about that.
Yeah. And so it would be like, say I washed the clothes and then put them in the dryer, but I haven't had enough time to fold them and they're sitting in a basket. I might start like counting how many times you passed the basket and didn't put them away.
You have a clicker?
Click.
5,
click,
6.
Click.
What's the record, babe?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you know. Can say.
So I feel like covert expectations can show up in a lot of ways, and they can be like, well, he should notice that basket, and he should notice that I've done the first 3 steps. And this is an invitation for him to do the last step. Now, before I say this, I have to say that you do jump in and do this all the time and put away the laundry.
I didn't before.
You didn't before.
No.
And so that's where this was really a problem. It was like, Greggy should notice this. He should know that I said that there. I never said anything. I would just set the basket right where he would have to pass it on his way to like maybe the closet or something and then count. And so that's so unfair.
Let me add this. It even goes further beyond that, because if I didn't do it in 1 or 2 counts, I don't know, maybe less than that. Maybe I should have done it in 0 counts. I should have done it before. It meant to her. It used to mean something to her.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it meant that I did not love her.
Yes, absolutely. You did not support me. You did not love me. You did not notice me. You did not care about me. And so while I maybe didn't have a tendency towards this in the sexual realm, I think those who do in the sexual realm have that same messaging though.
Yep.
They don't love me. My spouse doesn't care about me. They don't
I'm not
notice
attractive,
me.
they don't desire
yeah,
me.
I'm not enough. And so whatever it is you're covertly tracking, stop. Please.
I don't remember how long ago. This is a long time ago, but there used to be Heart. What's that guy? Bob Hope. Bob Hope? No, not Bob Hope.
Lady the Bear.
Yes. Looking it up. We'll have to edit this out, or maybe we'll keep it in there because Amy Googled last time. They're going to talk boobs. It's Bob Hope. Who is it? Yeah, Bob Newhart. Okay.
Wait, how do we get back?
So very long ago, there used to be this show on called the Bob Newhart Show, and it will tell my age. If you all out there are my age, you probably maybe remember it. It was pretty popular. And he was actually a counselor, a psychologist, right? And so he pulls this person in, and he has them, and he's talking to her, and she's like, I have this great fear that I'm going to die by being buried alive in a box. He pauses for a second, and he thinks. He goes, stop it. She goes, what? He's like, stop it. She goes, what? Stop it or I'll bury you alive in a box. And that was his method to fix the problem. So
we've come a long way in counseling.
Maybe I might go back to trying that. It might work.
But we say that sometimes just as a joke.
That's the joke.
And I almost said that right there, which is why this is coming up.
That's why because stop it.
Or I'll bury you alive in a box.
Bury you alive in a box.
In full jest. We don't actually mean that, but
could be fun.
The idea being that when you have a covert expectation, first of all, it's unfair. You are always going to have some anger, resentment, hurt, wounding from tracking something that's covert. It's legitimately unfair. And so really stop. And if it is a conversation you want to have, then have the conversation about here's what would be meaningful to me, or here's what I make this mean, and maybe I need to change that meaning, or can we partner better, or here's what's going on for me. Like anytime you have a secret hidden manual of rules that your spouse should be following, they're going to fail.
Right.
And then you get to just resent them and be angry at them. And as much as you think they should know this, or they should see this, or they should realize that this is my expectation, that's not fair.
Yeah. And I think on the flip side, when we first started trying to do this, it didn't go very well for me either, because I would just get angry that you had all these expectations for me, right? And then I would think of all the reasons why you were wrong to have those expectations for me. I shouldn't do the dishes or the laundry because I work all day and support the family, some dumb shit like that. That didn't go well either. So I think there is a partnership on the other side that helps them step out and be uncovert by the way that you deal with these things. And that doesn't mean you have to give in or fold in or say, I'll do it, or do it out of obligation. The worst thing you can ever do is out of obligation, because resentment will be born in that moment.
Yeah.
No other way. And so we're not asking for that, but what we're asking is stop. For me, I had to stop trying to win, trying to be victorious, trying to find reasons why I should be doing these things, or excuses why I shouldn't be doing these things, like trying to protect myself and make myself look better.
I think a lot of it too is based on using your spouse in a dependent way, meaning that if I was tracking the way that you were I was never tracking when you were actually supporting in the house. I was only tracking when you weren't. So let's be legitimate about that. And
Because you go behind me and redo everything I did in the house anyways.
right. I definitely had a huge part in this pattern. But when I'm looking to you to say, I need you to validate me, or I need to track and get evidence that here's how you love me. And I think what we're trying to do is mitigate that risk of loving someone. When you love someone, there is a risk that they won't love you back in the way that you want, or in the secret hidden manual that you have written for them. And it really asks us to learn to love well and not be tracking how we think we should be loved.
And the mitigation is that there is no mitigation. Like that you just have to do it wholeheartedly and know to accept what comes, right? It's like every time, how do I change my spouse to do this? How do I get them to do that? You don't. Like, you can't get them to do anything. And if you do, then you got bigger problems because then you're an abuser.
I think sometimes we come to marriage and we want to be loved, but we don't realize how much we're learning to love.
Or we want the intimacy, but we can't afford or don't want to give the exposure that it takes to get there. That's the price. The price for intimacy is exposure. And we try to take the intimacy side without paying the price. And it's stealing.
Like when I was tracking what you were or weren't doing, then I was justified in not being close to you or distancing. And so it would be like, he definitely hasn't supported me, so I definitely don't need to snuggle up in his arms. Like it becomes these justifications for why you're not going to love.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what I was trying to say is as your spouse decides that they're going to be more vulnerable, that they're going to expose themselves to you, that they're not going to have these covert hidden expectations, but yet they're going to speak them out loud and bring them to you. You being part of this partnership, your job is to not justify or try to find an excuse why not. I would justify why I didn't do the laundry. Good example. Amy was saying she justified why she didn't cut up my arms and was intimate with me. Mm-hmm. And I had to stop looking for justification. That was the big topic last week, right? Mm-hmm. And I had to start looking for reasons why I wanted to step into the relationship, why I wanted to find ways to be able to change myself so that I could be that better partner that I wanted to be. I desired it, but when it came down to it, the hard news was hard news. And when those expectations were brought out in the open, I wasn't always the one to jump and say, how can I better meet those expectations?
Yeah. I think the thing I learned over and over and over is how much marriage is a mirror to look inside ourselves and to see, again, where we need to grow, where we're hiding, where we're expecting what's unfair or unkind. And I really think I'm a kind person, but have I had some really unkind expectations? Absolutely. I'm a good person. I'm a kind person. I do kind things, and then avoid that mirror that you're like, yeah, but that's not really very fair or very kind, or that is really controlling. And I think that's hard.
Yeah. Something just came to my mind because I'm sure there's people out there making lists right now of expectations they're going to hand over to their spouse because they're not covert anymore. What do we say to that too? Because why not having the covertness is important. And in this case, we made the foundation to be able to build this intimate playground together. And so it wasn't out of the blue or it wasn't totally off the picture of what we've been discussing anyway. I think it was in the realms of our reality. So having those covert expectations was just silly. But I guess the thing that I'm concerned about is I don't want to start this whole firestorm of, well, I'm just telling you my expectations. So I'm trying not to be covert.
Mm-hmm. See where I'm going? Yeah. We're like, I'm just being honest.
Right. Right. I've seen so many spouse say the most nastiest things, and that's not a sexy, nasty turn on kind of thing. It's the not nice things to their spouse in the name of being open and honest.
Yeah. No, that's definitely not what we're proposing. I think the honesty is pointed at yourself more than at your spouse generally. Mm-hmm. And It's being willing to look at yourself first. We always have so much
Mm.
work to do on our own side of the relationship street, shall we say. It's very easy to see your spouse. All of us come by that very easily. We can easily list all the ways that they could improve and the things that they could change or do, or the way that they fall short. And they do. I fall short, you fall short. Yes, we're human beings. But I think when we're referring to honesty, it is far more about looking into yourself and seeing what you're doing that is trying to extract, or that is unfair, or that is unkind, or that is following a belief or an expectation that isn't useful or helpful. And it's being willing to unjustify yourself, not in a way that destroys your worth. I'm not suggesting that at all, but actually holding on to your worth and saying, I matter. And I also see that believing that you should just take care of me in marriage is very unfair and unkind.
Mhm.
And seeing that, I'm noticing all the ways that I'm asking you to do that. And I'm even curious to know what you feel and being willing to get like that feedback.
Yeah.
That's totally different than I'm just telling you that I need to have the laundry done to be okay.
I just had an aha here.
Tell me.
Maybe the desire to go covert is a sign that you haven't taken care of your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That you haven't asked your question to yourself, why do I desire this so much? Why am I asking or setting this expectation? What is it about me that I haven't maybe taken care of so that I'm not willing to say this so openly?
Mm-hmm.
And I go back to think about this situation that we were just in. I think that even when I was less covert, I still hadn't figured that out. And I think that's probably what made me go covert, was because I hasn't asked myself, why do I desire this so much? And what is it in me that I'm so worried about being told no? And what can I take care of in myself first?
I think because it was something maybe newish for us, there was still perhaps some uncertainty around the ask.
Yeah. But what you said and made so clear to me when you said it was the way that we stop from making the list of expectations that aren't fair for our spouse too, and have a collaboration of how we are better and become closer to each other, is by looking at yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it is just that red flag that says if your first inclination is to go covert, you probably haven't thought this through about how you play into it or what it means to you for real and why you think the way you think. Why do
Probably
you need this
avoiding
from them?
something in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Because when I
fair.
play through this whole thing, even though it was new and everything, that if I was really being honest with myself, that's probably why I went covert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I wanted this, I wanted it to mean something to us. It maybe it was a little validation seeking again that it was sneaking in. I don't know, probably some of that, but I haven't had a problem in a long time just
Yeah.
being open and honest with you about the things I desire and want. And
Which
it
is
was
why I
probably a red
didn't.
flag that I needed to look deeper in me.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. Think the insecurity, like I'm applying that even like to the household stuff. I think if I am so worried about you taking care of me, then I'm going to, in that framing, I'm going to be tracking all the caretaking because that's going to create this false sense of safety. And so, what I first need to address within me is like me being able to take care of my own self and then recognizing how we can function as partners,
Right.
removing that whole dependency. And that's scarier than thinking, oh, I'm just going to have them. I mean, it seems scarier at first, but actually, I think it's scarier to be in a dependent
Yeah.
position. It's harder to maintain steadiness when you're dependent on someone
Right.
else. Because in every little thing you do that you have no idea that you're doing becomes like these attacks. Let's say you just walked into the closet to get dressed for your pajamas and we were
And
just
the click, he hates
existing.
me, he hates me.
And then all of a sudden I'm wounded,
Yeah.
right? And you have no idea. And that's fair because you're just like literally existing and getting ready for bed. And yeah, it becomes like these ways, like it may seem easier to track, but it actually becomes these ways that we're just like wounding ourselves.
Right. Yeah, I think for us, it happened in phases. The thought that we should actually be honest with each other was a slap in the face for us. Like, we're like, what? I'm supposed to protect her from all these things. She doesn't need to know all this stuff. And it wouldn't be kind to her. And realizing that true intimacy requires complete honesty with each other. That was the first phase of doing this and not being covert. But I think there's
and then
also
learning how to tolerate that
right.
honesty.
And that's exactly the next thing I go to, though. Not only tolerate it, but not be, honesty does not need to be unkind.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can set up all these expectations and then have them be loud about them and expect your spouse to do that. Like, it's fine to desire things and be honest about them, but also that's the partnership, is being honest about them and being able to work through what they will or won't do and how they will or will not react or be in the situation.
I think the hard truth is a spouse can never be everything for you.
Right.
And I think we don't really like to face that truth. We think this person can be my everything and is my everything. And we love this sort of like idealized picture. I think you, as my spouse, are amazing and phenomenal, but you also disappoint me like I disappoint you. And we're human and we make mistakes and we don't see everything. That's normal. And I think allowing some grace for humanness is huge.
Yep.
And even just removing the large expectation that my spouse should be my everything or should be everything for me is maybe a better way to say it. Your spouse can't read your mind. They don't know all your secret hidden things. And it's important to be able to create enough honesty and sharing that you can work through these things and not make them the threat or the attack.
No, we've kind of been around everywhere here, but hopefully the message has come through that honesty is so important and having covert expectation isn't fair to yourself or your spouse. And that when we have these expectations, the first place to look is ourself and make sure that we're pure and honest about what these expectations might be or the desires that we have before we bring it to our spouse. And when we do that and we can have a real honest conversation, I don't feel like we've ever got to a place that wasn't better.
Yeah.
Just didn't improve, that we didn't try something new, that
or
we
understanding.
didn't work on something that made our marriage better.
And maybe it's not even that something changed as much as maybe understanding or perspective or
Right.
like a meaning shifted.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So don't do what I did. Stop having covert expectations.
Stop it. Or I'll bury you alive in a box.
She's going to bury me alive in a box. And that's not one of my things on my wish list. So
isn't that one of your biggest fears?
Yes.
Actually.
Suffocating, drowning,
Yeah.
being trapped. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So no jokes like pirates without teeth. It doesn't,
Sorry,
doesn't
babe.
float very well, pun intended. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to Ramble. Hopefully there were some nuggets in there that will help you and your spouse.
And next week,
Oh, yeah. You want to announce it?
I don't know if I should announce it yet, but you're going to want to tune in.
You can announce it.
We are going to have another one of my favorite authors. And I don't know that I want to say who it is yet, but I will say it will be worth listening to. And a few weeks ago, we had Dr. Kathleen Smith, whom I love both of her books. And I would say this book is right up there with both of her books. I love this book. I use it all the time. We talk about a lot of the content in this book. And so I'm so excited to bring the author of this book to you and to be able to ask all the questions.
Yeah, this one's changed us for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's books that are good that have knowledge, and then there's books that are life-changing, and this one's been one. So I'm a little excited and nervous to meet this individual. So I'll tell you, it's a little bit girl fangirling when we get these
No, I'm
people on?
all the way
I know.
fangirling.
So I'll try to keep Amy from drooling all over this person and spending the whole time drooling, but
Come on,
we'll
let
be
me
excited.
drool a
I
little bit.
know. Oh, it's not attractive. Unless you're drooling about me. That's attractive. Just kidding. So hopefully there's been some things that we have talked about here that were helpful. We would love to chat with you. Again, I just totally enjoy these consults, no matter where they end up. Of course, we love working with you. And if we continue that, that's going to be fabulous.
Yeah.
But I've met so many fabulous people just by chatting with them and having a 45-minute talk. So please don't hesitate. If you've crossed your mind, like maybe I should do that, go do it. Or Amy will bury you alive in a
Oh,
box.
stop.
and we would love to enjoy it. LangfordLifeCoaching.com. Go up there and sign up for a free consult.
I think I'm also going to invite some clients on so that you can hear the other side of the story, what it's like to be coached. I think that's going to be a helpful.
Maybe even another contest, man. That worked out fantastic.
That was
I
fun.
don't know. Well, we're working on it as we go, as you see, but we enjoy it and really appreciate it. So thank you for tuning in. Go like and subscribe to this podcast. That helps us. We keep growing and we appreciate that. Until next time.
Keep undressing your intimacy.
Bye-bye.